Alright, we're gonna learn how to make an old-fashioned cocktail. An old-fashioned cocktail, as much as it's usually confused to be a type of specific drink, it is actually a style of cocktail and not one specific cocktail. For example, most people think that an old-fashioned is made specifically with bourbon, American bourbon, sugar, and bitters. It is true, but the old-fashioned cocktail actually can be made with anything. The four main components are sugar, water, bitters, and spirit of any kind. Today, just to play on that point, I'll be making one with a tequila. So I'll be essentially making a tequila old-fashioned. We're going to start off with pura sangre reposado. So I'm using a reposado tequila. I'm going to do 50 ml of this. Next, the sugar part. Instead of using regular sugar or sugar cubes, or some people like to use rich simple syrup, I'm using an agave nectar. I'm going to use 7.5 ml of this. Now the reason why I chose to use agave nectar is not only for the flavor, but because it is liquid, as opposed to using a sugar cube, it is easier to mix the ingredients up. Next ingredient, Angostura bitters, 3 dashes. And then we're just going to stir the drink up. So when you're stirring, you want to bear in mind that you want to make sure that's the right temperature and dilution. One way to tell is either you can count how many times you're actually stirring the glass, or what we like to do as professionals is to fill the side of the glass with the temperature, because you cannot get dilution without the right temperature. And finally, to taste it a little bit at the end to see if it's ready or not. Personally, when I'm making an old-fashioned, I tend to understir it a little bit so it's just under diluted and slightly warmer than it should be. Reason being because an old-fashioned is always served over ice, and the ice will do the rest of the job for you. So the first sip of the old-fashioned tends to be strong, and over time it starts to peter out and melt down to something more mellow and more approachable. Taste test. It's good to go. Get a glass, fill it with ice. It doesn't have to be a fancy ice like we do. Strain out any excess water that's in the glass. And pour your cocktail into the glass. And last but not least, for this drink, I'm just going to use an orange peel for the zest. Just zest it over the top a little bit. And just garnish it with the rest of the peel. And there you have it, tequila old-fashioned.